Hi everyone, I'm Eric Best with the Mariposa Group community. I recently returned from the annual Rethinking Everything conference where I'd been asked to talk on several subjects relevant to creating successful community. The people at the conference were bright, energetic, and very enthusiastic folks, also who had very open, inquiring minds, and who often have a strong interest in community, living in community. While I was there, I ended up having interesting conversations with a number of them. Here's one that I think you will enjoy. Hi everybody, we're at the Rethinking Everything Conference 2014, and we're talking with Nikki Steninger. Hello Nikki, thank you for doing the interview. Just an hour or so ago, I concluded a presentation here at the conference that I've been asked to give on sex, money, and power. Nikki came and attended the presentation, and at the end she made a lovely comment about something to the effect of using, as she went forward in life, some of the information or different perspectives that have been presented to her in the presentation. And I asked her if she'd just talk with us. Let me start off. Nikki, first off, how old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18. And is this your first time at Rethinking?
No, this is my 5th or 6th year.
Oh, so you've been here many a time.
Yes.
All right, okay. Are you a homeschooled person yourself?
Yep. I've been homeschooled for a while when I was a kid, and then we switched unschooling after we came to the conference for the first time, but I've never been a day in school.
Right, okay. Today, what prompted you, in the audience, we had 14 people today, and you were the only one who was under 25, perhaps, or at 18. What prompted you to decide to come to this topic of money, sex, and power?
I just like learning. That's one of the main reasons I come to the conference, is just to learn about stuff I hadn't thought about before, or things I hadn't even considered thinking about before.
Right.
And
right.
I saw this on the schedule and it looked interesting, so I showed up.
Okay, great. We jointly covered a range of topics. I started off with some of my talk about creating conscious community, intentional community, and then talked about the foundational base, the basic needs that we have as human beings: safety, security, sexuality, sensuality, pleasure, and a sense of power and control over our own lives as being a foundation that really needed to be there. And then I went on with a slide presentation of a number of different cultures and how they sort of work or don't work with regard to different aspects of sex, relationships, money, power, who controls what. Did any one of those stand out in particular for you?
The one that I remember the most was, I believe it was about like no war, no
Rape, no murder.
That was the one. And it was just interesting to see that there are still cultures out there that are a matriarchal society, because such a huge majority of the world at this point is strictly patriarchal. And it was interesting to hear and kind of inspiring to hear that there's still a culture out there where that's not true.
Right, right. It's an interesting one. It's remotely located in China. Part of the reason it probably still exists like that.
Yeah.
What did you think about the one toward the end, the what I call the Zoe tribe down in the Amazon?
Mm-hmm.
Was that...
That was fascinating, in that what you said about they didn't perceive someone as beautiful unless they had the dowel sticking out of their face.
Right.
Because it's just kind of puts things into perspective. Like nowadays, we have a hard time perceiving someone as beautiful if they don't have perfect hair and perfect skin.
Right.
And for me, it just kind of highlighted how ridiculous the human perception of beauty can be. It can be nice hair, skinny body, or it can be a stick sticking out of your lips. So
right.
it just kind of, for me, highlighted the nuances that I see around me every day.
Okay, right. You talked, your comment at the very end, when you were about to leave, about carrying this forward in the future for you. Is there anything you think about yourself as you move through life, money, sex, and power for you? Is there anything about all of this that you think, gee whiz, maybe I was doing ABC thinking about money, sex, or power, now I'm going to do X, Y, Z? Is there any sort of shift, change going on?
Yeah, well, it kind of stopped me thinking about me and one other person, and got me thinking about where I could take my life in a community, because I tend to be a lot of a loner, and usually when I think about the future, it's just me and whoever my significant other is going to be.
Right.
And with your talk and what I heard yesterday, I'm really starting to understand how I could either find or create a community that I would enjoy being in. So that's definitely a new thought that has occurred.
All right. Let me ask, do you have a significant other now?
I am in a long-distance relationship. I have a boyfriend. We've been together about a month.
Okay.
It's not all that serious, but it's...
Have you met him physically yet?
Yeah, I've spent a total of 8 days with him.
Right. 8 out of a month, that's a fair hunk of time for...
Well, actually, I met him 2 years ago. So over the last 2 years, I've spent 8 days at similar events, or actually went and visited him a couple weeks ago.
Did you meet him at a Rethinking event?
No, he does not homeschool. I think he did at one point, but he's not now. We met at a LARP event in Nevada the first time, most recently in Colorado. So.
Okay, all right. And where do you live?
Elko, Nevada.
Elko, Nevada. Okay, I don't know where that is.
We're pretty exactly triangulated between Salt Lake, Reno, and Boise.
Okay.
So we're in the northeastern corner of Nevada.
Are you in the country?
Elko is a fairly decent sized town. I think we've got about 20, 30,000.
Okay.
But my family live 18 miles outside of Elko, and we have 65 acres. So it's a nice mix between a big enough city so we have stuff to do, and out in our country farm with our horses and rabbits and stuff.
I know this is not on the immediate topic. What do you love doing at your place?
Historical reproduction clothing.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that before.
Yeah,
yes.
So I research the heck out of a certain era in history's clothing and materials, sewing techniques, embellishment, and then I have a blast teaching myself how to recreate them. So
Wow.
I do everything from Viking and 12th century all the way through Victorian mid-19th century stuff.
Fabulous. You know, when you said that at first during my presentation in the intro, I thought you were talking about historical clothing like Utah or Nevada at that time.
Oh.
So it's neat to hear it's a worldwide type of thing.
Yeah, well, America only goes back so far.
Right.
But the Victorian stuff that I do is with a interpretive center near Elko that focuses on the California Trail, and I volunteer out there once a week for a couple hours, dressed as a pioneer, telling the pioneer stories and answering people's questions about clothing.
Neat. Coming back to rethinking again. You've been here 5 times? How many times? Something?
I lost count. About 5. That sounds right.
Yeah, good number. What's your take? You're saying after seeing the material I presented today of rethinking potentially how you might move forward in terms of money, sex, and power and so forth. Do you have a sense that the kids in rethinking have a significant, on average, difference from the kids in normal schooling with how they might perceive with relationships or community, what they might want to create for themselves in life?
I think that with the kids that I've met here versus my friends that go to school or just really, really average Americans, the kids here are just being taught a lot better how to follow their passions and how to express themselves, how to take responsibility, because with unschooling inherently comes a lot of freedom, and with freedom comes responsibility. So a lot of the kids that I see going through school, they get out of school after college or high school, whatever they choose to do, and they're just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. There's no one telling me, go sit there, do this, do that, eat now. And they just don't know how to take control of their own lives. Whereas a lot of the homeschoolers and unschoolers, especially here that I've met, they're already used to doing that.
Right.
They understand how to be people in the real world, which always amuses me when someone says that the issue they have with homeschooling is, oh, they're not learning how to get along in the real world. I'm like, actually, it's kind of the opposite. So
That's a neat comment. With the talk today, the presentation today, so you have more, for you, potentially an interest in some sort of intentional community, perhaps? Do you have any more you can elaborate on that?
well, I have a lot of friends that live out of town. Like a huge majority of my friends don't live in the same state that I do. So I'm really used to connecting via the internet mostly.
Right.
And it's kind of a new concept for me that I could potentially have a physical community that I like as much as the friends that I have to stay connected with because they're all over the country or the world. And it would be really fun for me because I've never had this in real life living in rural Nevada. There's not a whole lot of culture there. But I really like the idea of taking these connections and drawing them into my physical life, into my vicinity.
Would you love to have them come to your ranch in Nevada?
Well, it would be cool, but
I saw the butt coming on.
yeah, I love Nevada. I'm a longtime native Nevadan, but it's not a place that I connect with. If I were to create a community, it would probably be somewhere with a little bit more moisture and trees.
All right. All right. Great. This is lovely. Any closing thoughts, comments, desires, wishes?
Well, I would just tell whoever's watching this that keep an open mind. Go learn something new. There's always more to learn on something that interests you, and everybody you meet knows something you don't. So
Lovely.
I will part with that.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate the time, and I'll send you a copy of this.
Thank you.
All righty. The Mariposa Group is a community village environment purposely created to be life positive, to have safety and security for us, and at the same time to enhance and uplift our lives in all areas, bringing to us more joy, creativity, and satisfaction in our lives. You can learn more about us at mariposagroup.org. The Mariposa Group is a community village environment purposely created to be life positive, to have safety and security for us, and at the same time to enhance and uplift our lives in all areas, bringing to us more joy, creativity, and satisfaction in our lives. You can learn more about us at mariposagroup.org.